morning. You're listening to Trusting God at All Times, a daily devotion from Peakland United Methodist Church in Lynchburg, Virginia. I'm Andrew, the deacon here at Peakland. When I was an undergrad, I had a friend whose name was Nader. Nader was the kind of guy who would show up for anything to support his friends. He was involved in many of the student groups throughout the school, and he always went out of his way to support those who asked him to. So it was no surprise that when me and a couple of my buddies started a Bible study / fellowship group, Nader did his best to show up when he could. Now, when I say it was a Bible study, it's important to say that this was a Bible study run by several college students who really just wanted to get together and play board games. So our Bible study looked like 30 minutes of Bible study, food, and then games. Because of that, we didn't always get into the most deep biblical conversations. Nader was kind of the exception to that, though. Every time Nader was able to come, he was always the most invested in the Bible studies. He would come with his thoughts, his reflections, the ways that he was reading the scriptures that helped shape how he would do things. He was the kind of guy that embodied his faith in everything he did. It wasn't just something he talked about or claimed to have. You saw how important care for the world and others was in the way he lived his life. Now is also probably a good time to tell you that Nader was a Muslim. And he still would come to our Bible studies and dive into them, be fully invested, and reflect on our sacred texts with us. The fact that he was Muslim didn't hinder him from being a part of our conversations, and in many ways, it helped the rest of us to really consider our scriptures in a different way. One of the interesting things about Nader was that people got his name wrong very often. Often they would call him Nader or Nadir. And Nader never really corrected people. He treated them the same with love, compassion, and generosity. What ended up happening was that several of us in the spiritual life department at Shenandoah started grabbing people after conversations with him just to politely say, hey, just so you know, his name is Nader. And if you have any trouble remembering that, you can just say Nader matters. It was just a little thing we did. But the rhyme that we came up with to do this was really important, because not only did Nader matter, but he was as much a part of our religious community as anyone else was. And we knew that in the case of someone messing up our names, he'd do the same for us. Truly, I tell you that I learned more about what it meant to live with humility and to live as a person with faith just from being around Nader than I really did from most people. And so today, I tell you this story in part so that I can invite you to join me in thinking back on someone who had a profound impact on your own faith life. And as we go forward today, I invite you to join me in remembering that we go forward not just striving to honor God, but to honor those who taught us what it means to live as people of faith. Amen.